Moving on though, Qantas has launched the world's first zero-waste flight, taking off from Sydney to Adelaide. Every disposable item on the trial flight will be composted, reused or recycled. Sky News reporter Caroline Marcus was on the flight and joined us now from Adelaide. Caroline, I'm sure you know this is close to my heart. I hate waste. This sounds fantastic. Every time you get on a flight, I lose count of the number of things wrapped in plastic, and they're wrapped in plastic. It's like a babushka doll. What was the flight like? Was it transformative? Was it much different to normal?
Well, it was a very comfortable flight, Tom, and I'm sure you would have loved it because the products that usually are covered in plastic and come in all these sorts of packaging like Russian dolls, as you put it, are made from sustainable materials now. They're recyclable, they're compostable. For example, the plastic cups are actually made from plant material rather than oils. The food containers are made out of sugarcane pulp that are left over from refineries. And the cutlery is made out of crop starch. So it's these little changes. They were also asking passengers to, instead of printing out boarding passes, to get digital boarding passes on their phones so that they don't have the waste, the paper waste. But any waste like that left over was recycled at the end of the flight. Now, this was just a trial flight today from Sydney to Adelaide, but eventually customers will be able to see these changes come into effect on all Qantas and Jetstar domestic and international flights. Now, waste, as you point out, is a huge problem for airlines. Every year, Qantas generates 30,000 tonnes of waste. That's the equivalent of 80 747s full of rubbish. So that is quite a big amount. Now, this is not going to come cheap, moving on to this green scheme, but they are planning to cut their waste by 75% by the end of 2021. Here's what the Qantas Group executive had to say about whether costs will be passed on to customers. Will these costs be passed on to the passenger?
No, these are going to be our costs at Qantas to improve our processes and training and the products we use. So there will be no impact in terms of the cost of airfares for our customers. But as I say, it's also something that customers want. So we hope it is a true win-win.
So, Caroline, what do you reckon? Are you on board?
Well, I'm on board, Tom. If it means that I don't have to pay any more for my flight, then I think it is a good scheme. It's a very little, the small changes, it seems, but it makes a huge amount of difference. And when you hear about the amount of waste that is produced every year, it's just staggering. But it wasn't just me. I spoke to other passengers on board the flight, and this is what they had to say.
I think it's been fantastic seeing all the fact that all of this is actually being recyclable, and we know that we're actually helping the environment with not having as much of a footprint. It's been a massive change.
The whole concept is great, and I think everything that's recyclable is a fantastic idea. Low footprint, carbon footprint, I just like it.
One thing, Tom, you might miss are those cute little tubs of Vegemite, those little single-use tubs of milk that you'd get with your tea or coffee. They won't be available on these types of flights anymore. In exchange, you'll have bigger options of milk and Vegemite that you can spread from. But I think it'll be worth it in the end, and I'm sure you'll be getting on one of these flights as soon as you can.
Cannot wait, Caroline. You know this is in my wheelhouse. Hate all that waste. We'll see how it progresses. Thank you.